Hello everyone, this is Ivan Ospina with the Technology in the Global Arena class on Saturdays, and I'm here to present an ethical analysis of a computer-related case that will lead me to talk about the engineer's code of conduct. I can start defining ethics as the set of rules and standards that all engineers should adhere to, because engineering is a career that can impact lives. And when ethics are not followed, we can see that often disasters occur. There are several engineering disciplines that include automated tasks, but I am going to concentrate on electrical engineering companies hiring incompetent or inexperienced professionals. Now, the scheme of my presentation: first, I am going to present my case. Secondly, I am going to proceed to define the ethical standards. And third, I will present both the ethical and unethical points of view. But before I start with my case, why is this important to us? And it is because we are somehow involved with computers every day, or IT technology, throughout our careers. Computers truly present a particular case in understanding the role of technology in automated decision making based on pure algorithms or logic. What this means is that engineers should always be aware of their safety, but also the safety of those around them. And with this in mind, let's present the case. A company hires a not very experienced, but very inexpensive programmer to program electrical substations and to program the breakers in the electrical substation. During testing, one of the technicians gets killed when operating the breaker because the software did not count on one specific condition, and that is, do not allow two breakers from different voltage sources be closed at the same time. That means voltage combined from a generator and voltage coming from the utility power. While the technician was operating one of the breakers, then it exploded on his face, killing him. When OSHA investigated the situation, they concluded that the software was lacking such basic condition, preventing the operation of the breakers in a mechanical way. When the family of the technician killed finds out, they filed criminal charges against the programmer that implemented the sequence of operation. As we can see, it was a fatality involved in this case. And now electrical substations are very common nowadays, mainly on buildings, where computers program and monitor the breakers. Now imagine for a moment the panel breaker in your house. There are only 120 volts. These electrical substations are usually 480 volts, which is 4 times the voltage present in our house typically. In this case, safe electrical designs should have been followed, trying to eliminate the hazard or at least controlling it. Now, with that said, let's talk about the ethical standards that apply for electrical engineering. And the first one is: be technically competent and conduct yourself and perform competently. The second one is to accept responsibility in making decisions consistent with safety. That is, considering safe designs. And the third one is that managers should properly assign qualified professionals for the tasks they are qualified to, nothing else. Now, with those 3 standards defined, let's analyze now the case from the ethical point of view. Who are our ethical actors? The actors are the programmer assigned to program the electrical substation, and the second actor was the manager in the electrical company. And the action we want to test is should have the programmer accepted such responsibility, being aware of his inexperience, and should have the manager reassign that to someone else with experience. And what is our ethical issue here? and that is that most problems concerning what we should do would have never been problems if we wouldn't foresee the consequences of the act. We are required to think either we should have accepted the task or not. Now, how do we test our actor using our standards? The standard was be technically competent and conduct yourself and perform competently. And he graduated from college. He has good notes. He had good records. Therefore, he was technically prepared. He was technically knowledgeable. And he thinks as an engineer. He cannot think as a manager because he is an engineer in this company. Now, we can also say that if we apply Kant ethics, we can say that our actor, the programmer, had good intentions because he was doing his job. He was doing a job for which he was being paid. And according to Kant, good intentions matter. Good intentions drive to a right act. The blame or credit should be derived from our intentions. The intention of our actor wasn't killing someone, that was only a consequence of his inexperience. Therefore, he cannot be blamed for the consequence. Now, if we analyze this case from the unethical point of view, did the engineer fail to follow regulations or the company failed to follow regulations? Because part of the regulations is training properly its own employees. We can also think that our actor, the programmer, was not 100% competent because he knew he didn't have enough experience. But was this really his responsibility? According to our ethical standards defined, the manager failed to identify his employees' training needs. Engineers focus on things, but managers should focus on people and people needs. And the sequence of operation for this electrical substation was not properly verified. Therefore, the company testing policies failed, which is unethical. And last, if we refer to utilitarian ethics, it can be said that it only sees the results of one action. Therefore, the company failed to properly manage their employees. It was unethical to assign such a dangerous job to an inexperienced employee. It is really hard to determine if the programmer was really incompetent or had malice to proceed. Therefore, employees and companies following codes of ethics is really important. Thank you and have a good day.